Engine cranks normally, but refuses to start. Will a bad camshaft sensor cause a no start? Yes, it absolutely can. The camshaft position sensor helps the engine computer determine exactly when to fire the fuel injectors and ignition system. If that signal becomes weak, erratic, or disappears completely, the engine may crank normally, but never start. But here's the important part. A no-start condition doesn't automatically mean the camshaft sensor has failed. Problems like damaged wiring, a faulty connector, or even a missing sensor signal can produce the same symptoms. In this video, I'll show you the simple checks that can help you determine whether the camshaft sensor is really the problem, before you spend money replacing parts you may not need. Number 1. Symptoms of a bad camshaft position sensor. Before the engine reaches a complete no-start condition, there are usually a few warning signs you shouldn't ignore. Some of the most common symptoms of a bad camshaft position sensor include a check engine light, rough idling, poor acceleration, sudden stalling, and, in some vehicles, harsh or delayed transmission shifting. These symptoms don't always mean the sensor itself has failed. They simply tell you that the engine computer isn't receiving a consistent signal from the camshaft position sensor. Replacing the sensor should never be the first step. Instead, you need to confirm that the engine computer is actually receiving the signal it's expecting. Number 2. Check the wiring and connector. One way to tell if the camshaft position sensor is really causing the no-start problem is to inspect the wiring and electrical connector. A damaged wire or poor electrical connection can prevent the sensor signal from reaching the engine computer. When that happens, even a perfectly good sensor may appear to have failed. Carefully inspect the wiring harness leading to the sensor. Look for broken or melted wires, damaged insulation, or signs of oil contamination that could affect the signal. Then check the electrical connector for loose terminals, corrosion, bent pins, or moisture that may interrupt communication between the sensor and the engine computer. If you find any damage, repair it first. Clear the trouble codes and try starting the engine again before replacing the sensor. Number 3. Test the sensor with a multimeter. Another way to tell if the camshaft position sensor is really the cause of the no-start problem is to test it with a multimeter. Start by disconnecting the sensor and identifying which type of camshaft position sensor your vehicle uses. If it's a 2-wire magnetic sensor, check its resistance across the 2 terminals. A reading that's far outside the manufacturer's specifications, or an open circuit, may indicate that the sensor is faulty. If it's a 3-wire Hall effect sensor, turn the ignition on and verify that the sensor is receiving the correct power supply and a good ground. Then check the signal circuit according to the manufacturer's testing procedure to confirm that the sensor is capable of sending a signal to the engine computer. Compare all of your readings with the specifications in your vehicle's service manual. If the resistance, power supply, ground, or signal circuit is outside the recommended range, the sensor or its electrical circuit may be causing the no-start condition. However, a sensor can sometimes pass these basic multimeter tests and still fail while the engine is actually cranking. That's why one final check can help confirm whether the camshaft position sensor is truly the problem before replacing it. Number 4. Monitor the sensor signal while cranking. The final step, and one of the best ways to confirm whether the camshaft position sensor is really the problem, is to monitor its signal while the engine is cranking. The easiest way to do this is with a scan tool that displays live data. While the engine is cranking, check whether the engine computer is receiving a camshaft position signal. Depending on your scan tool and vehicle, this may appear as a camshaft signal, cam sync status, or a similar live data parameter. If your vehicle uses a 2-wire magnetic sensor, you can also measure the AC voltage output while cranking. A healthy sensor should generate a changing AC voltage as the engine turns. If your vehicle uses a 3-wire Hall effect sensor, check whether the signal wire switches between its specified voltage levels while the engine is cranking. A signal that never changes may indicate that the sensor is not operating correctly. These tests can give you a much clearer picture of whether the sensor is actually working. instead of simply guessing. If you don't already own these tools, don't let that discourage you. A basic multimeter or an entry-level scan tool is often much cheaper than replacing a camshaft sensor that turns out to be perfectly good. In many cases, a few simple tests can save you from spending far more on unnecessary parts. If there's no signal or the signal drops out intermittently, even though the wiring, connector, power supply, and ground have already been verified, it's much more likely that the camshaft position sensor itself is faulty and should be replaced. So, can a bad camshaft sensor cause a no-start? Absolutely. But remember, a no-start condition doesn't always mean the sensor itself is to blame. Taking a few minutes to diagnose the problem first can save you from replacing good parts and spending money on repairs you didn't actually need. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.